In my grandfather's church, we ended every service with a line from the Psalms. It was the benediction. I will never forget it as long as I live, because we said it umpteen million times. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. I want to talk with you and preach this morning on meaningful, beyond words, meaningful conversations. What is a meaningful conversation to you? I recently said to a friend in a comment about an event which I participated in, and here was my comment about the conversation. More superficial conversation could not have been spoken. More superficial conversation could not have been spoken. We have in the Proverbs wise aphorisms and words of wisdom that we need to look at occasionally. I love the stories, and I'll be honest with you, and to all of you who are watching me around the United States on YouTube, I usually tell the story, some story, but I couldn't find a story quite to fit what I wanted to get across this morning. But we live in a culture where words have become increasingly valueless, and meaningful conversation is a rarity. And I'm speaking about conversation between people with whom we have significant relationships. I don't think that we can walk down the streets of Stonington and pour our hearts out to everybody who comes along. But I'm concerned about the significant relationships in our lives and the scarcity of richness in meaning in what we say to each other. I believe that in order to have a meaningful conversation, we have to be present. And I would like to suggest to you this morning, as I suggest to my teachers, being present to your students, I say to them, is more than showing up for work in the morning. I learned from Till Evans, my mentor and the woman I dearly love. She turned 87 this past month. I sent her Wendell Berry books, big surprise. She loves Wendell Berry. Till Evans taught me that the heart of the gospel, which is love, is to be fully present to another human being. To be fully present. Have you ever had a conversation when there was no there? That it seemed like you were speaking and the right words were perhaps being said, but there were blank looks or disengagement with the other that you were speaking with. We have fallen to an age where people are devalued routinely, taken for granted. At the heart of what often happens in the fracturing of relationships is that people leave a long time before they move out. There's a checking out process that goes on. One of the things I believe that we long for as human beings is connection and communication. And it requires being present. And being present is more than showing up. What does it mean to you to be fully present to another person? Well, I don't know that I can answer that for you, so I'll tell you what it means for me, and you do what you want with it. I have to concentrate, which requires some self-discipline. It means that I have to stop all other distractions and focus my attention on the person who is speaking with me. That means I'm not texting, I am on the phone and working on some sermon while somebody is talking with me. I have to shut it down and I have to look. I find that in my life, meaningful conversations require eye contact. Some of you have noted that I don't read my sermons because reading sermons is not preaching. Reading sermons is reading sermons. It's hard to look at a paper and be talking with people at the same time. There are those who have the gift and they can do it, and I don't know how they do it, and God bless them for doing it. But I find that in order to have meaningful exchange, I have to be looking at the people that I'm talking with. Whether it's 1 or 1,000. I'm convinced that if I can't do it with one, I can't do it with many. We fall often as human beings into a performance culture. When there's a crowd, we put on our best. I believe my best has got to be when I'm talking to a 3-year-old. I believe my best has got to be when I'm talking with children and younger people and people with special needs. I believe my best has got to come out at any time, not just when it's convenient or to my personal advantage in a quest for some upward mobility in life. To be fully present means I have to shut out the distractions. I'm talking about me. I have to disengage from things that would take my focus. And then, once I do the external stuff, I have to get my head there. It takes real work to listen. To listen on a deep level. The Bible says, do you know this? The Bible says to be swift or quick to hear and slow to speak. Have you ever had a conversation with a person that before you could get the words out of your mouth, they've already got a rejoinder or a reply, or they already know what they need to tell you? I personally have a sense they have not heard me. And even if they can parrot it back to me, I still don't think they have heard me. It is not enough to just be able to parrot back or to repeat what somebody has said. That means it is registered.